Hey YouTube, it's Sierra, aka This Disabled Chick, and I'm so excited to make this first video on my channel. I know I have some previous old videos that I kind of want to keep on my channel just for reference, but this is my first video that I'm making to kind of revamp my channel. Just a little background about me. I am Sierra. I'm from Chicago and I'm currently living here in Spain. I live in a very small city, just an hour south of Madrid. I'm a person that possesses a disability. I'm an amputee. I had cancer, which was the cause of my amputation. And I'm thinking about reintroducing another video in regards to my cancer story, but I'll do that in another video. So yeah, today I kind of wanted to do just a little cute video in regards to some of the culture shocks that I've experienced while living here in Spain, and I think they're kind of interesting. Number one would be, for me, would be the stairs. I came to Spain back in 2015. I went on a trip to Barcelona initially, then I went to Madrid. But around that time, I was thinking like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what Spanish culture looks like. Just from watching other YouTube videos of people that have traveled to Spain and experienced the culture, they showcased what they experienced, but I wasn't sure what I was going to experience, being that A, I'm a Black woman, and B, that I possess a disability. And so all of these things were running through my head. What if I get stares, and how would I feel about that? And I'm not going to be able to express myself. This was back in 2015. I'm not going to be able to express myself as much as I would like to because I don't speak the language. Fast forward to the year that I moved here to Spain, those thoughts kind of reoccurred and replayed in my head because I'm not just visiting Spain, I'm actually moving here. So the stairs, I get stares a lot till this day, and I don't think it's necessarily because of my leg, because even when I do cover my leg and I wear long pants, I get stares, and I think it's mainly because I look different from them. I'm tall, I'm 5'8". Here it's considered tall. They're little. Depending on the region in Spain, Spanish people are typically on the smaller side. So I was thinking, okay, well, when I wear my shorts, because, you know, the summer here is absolutely brutal. I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna get a lot of stares, and I did, but it wasn't awkward. Like, it wasn't too uncomfortable. It was definitely bearable, but that was one of my major concerns when moving here to Spain, was these people are going to stare, because being an amputee is not a prevalent thing like how it is in the States because of the military and from being deployed and all of that jazz. So, you know, it's more prevalent to see someone with a prosthetic or a missing limb in the States than it is here. Number two, now I'm going to reference one YouTuber. Her name is Tiffany, and I think her last name is Davis. She is living in Paris, and she talked about this: the amount of poop, of dog poop on the sidewalk, on the street, in the grass, everywhere here in Spain. It is absolutely disgusting. It's so disgusting. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. And Tiffany referenced how one day she stepped in a pile of poop in Paris, and how she kind of slid and glided across the ground, and she felt like she had wheelies on. Oh my God, hilarious. Luckily, and fingers crossed, I never experienced this, but I've never stepped in poop since I've been living here in Spain. Poop is so much in abundance on the street here that there is a children's board game around don't step on the poop type of thing. It exists. I saw a commercial maybe a couple of months ago on TV. It's a legit game. I can't remember the name of it, but the kids are like dodging the poop and stepping over the poop in the game. It's like a whole board game. It's crazy. That's how much poop is on the ground. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. Number three is racism. You know, being a Black woman from the United States, and if you know, you know, racism is alive and well and kicking and thriving in the US. So being, again, that I'm a person of color, I thought, okay, moving to a European country, of course, it's going to most likely be like the United States times 10. I was wrong. I'm not saying racism doesn't exist here in Europe. It definitely does. I've never personally experienced any discrimination or racism. I try to articulate my words on how I feel here, being a Black woman living here in Spain. I cannot find the correct words. The only way that I can compare the feeling of being a Black woman in a predominantly white space, predominantly white country, from here in Spain and the United States is immediately when I go to the States, I feel the tension. The tension is so heavy in the United States. Here, I guess depending on the region that you're in, the city that you're in, of course, the bigger the city, the more racism is more prevalent. It exists a lot more because there's a lot of tourists and there's negative connotations with Africans and Caribbean people and Black people, that if they see someone with darker skin complexion, they already label you with those negative connotations. It's not right. And, you know, this is something that a lot of people in the African American communities in Madrid have been protesting about, and Latinas as well, that live in Madrid, and as well as Barcelona. There's a lot of protests about discrimination. And of course, like the bigger the city, like I said, the more likely a person of color will experience some sort of discrimination or racism. Again, I've never personally experienced anything. If anything, I can't explain it. It's a completely different feel here in Spain, like completely different. Number 4, the difference of like their timetables. The timetables here that goes around eating is completely different than it is in the United States. And I learned this my first year of living here. When I first moved here, I lived with a friend and his family. And so I ate according to the time that they ate. I didn't know. Let me backtrack. Spanish people for breakfast, they have something very, very small. In the United States for breakfast, a typical breakfast is something eggs, bacon, or some sort of meat choice, maybe a side of fruit, coffee or juice and water, or even pancakes or even cereal. Here in Spain, typically on a weekday, the adults, they will have either a toast, and the toast will have like olive oil and tomato and salt, and it's so good. And they'll have like maybe 2 little pieces with a cup of coffee, or they might have, it's like muffins. They might have muffins, but it's like the size of a Twinkie. They'll have 2 muffins with a glass of coffee or some juice, and that's their breakfast. Their breakfast is normally eaten between the hours of, I want to say between 8 and 9. They'll have, or 7 and 9, they'll have their breakfast. So around the same time we have our breakfast in the United States. Then they have what they call snack. Snack is normally consumed between 10 and 12, maybe 12:30. And the snack is something very small. It could be a very basic sandwich, maybe a piece of cheese, a little slice of meat, and the 2 bread, and a cup of juice, or a little cup of yogurt and juice or water, or a container of grapes or fruit and some water. Very, very small. The biggest meal that they consume is at between the time of 2 and maybe 3:30 is where Spanish people eat lunch. And their lunch portions are the size of our dinner portions. So they have like this whole entire spread of everything, and it's very filling. It's very nutritious too. Mediterranean food it was something that I had to get used to because, oh, excuse my knee. It's something that I had to get used to because it's a diet that's very different from my palate, but nevertheless, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So yeah, so they eat lunch from 2:30 to maybe 3:30, and then they might have a snack after after that, maybe around 6, and then they'll have dinner. And their dinner is also very small. It's probably something to kind of snack on, but hearty. They might have a little spread of mussels, like the seafood, with maybe little rolls of bread, and you eat that. So it's nice and filling, but it's small at the same time. They're small portions. And so, dinner is typically served between 8, which is early, 8 to maybe 11:30 at night. Spanish people eat very late at night, and that's something that I had to get used to. I'm like, what? When I first moved here and I was living with my friend and his family, and I had dinner around, I think, 10:45. My body is not used to that at all. So I fell asleep and I felt super full. I woke up feeling full. Like I didn't digest anything, any contents in my stomach. And I woke up feeling a little sick because of that, because my body's not used to it. My body's not used to digesting food and then eating food and then going straight to bed. Like, my digestive system was like, no, we're not used to this. We don't know what's going on. And so I felt super full in the morning and I felt super sick at the same time. Okay, number 5, Spanish people are blunt and super forward. There is no sugarcoating nothing in Spain. And I don't know if it's because of the Spanish language or if it's just Spanish culture or the combination of the two. Because while I was learning Spanish, I realized that Spanish is very straightforward. If you're at a restaurant and you're telling the waiter, normally in English, you would say, I think I'm going to have, or I would like to have, or can I get, the bread with cheese? I don't know. In Spain, it's I want this, por favor. Like, I want this, please. You always end everything with please, because that shows a lot of manner behind what you're demanding that you want. Everything is, it's like I want, or you can say I would like, but it's typical to say like I want, or put this on for me, put this on the table for me. I don't know if it's the language. Spanish people, from my experience, they just don't sugarcoat anything at all. So I hope you enjoyed this really quick video. I really do want to focus my channel on all things disability, all things women of color, and living abroad, and what those experiences looks like, especially from my perspective. And thank you everyone for watching, and see you in the next video. Cheers.